Welcome to today's English class. Today we will do poem A Tiger in a Zoo by Leslie Morris. The poem is having 5 stanzas. The poet moves from cage to forest and then forest to cage. The message given by the poet is that the tigers should be allowed to live in the natural habitat. They should not be kept in the zoos. So stanza 1, he stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. He is here tiger, stalks means moves, he moves with his clear body, vivid clear stripes means lines on the body, the few steps of his cage. He is in the cage and he takes the few steps only because he is locked up in the cage on pads of velvet quiet. Pads, feet, velvet is a type of cloth and his feet are soft like velvet. Quiet means very silently he is moving on his feet which are like velvet. In his quiet rage, quiet is again silent, rage means anger. Quiet rage means he was very much angry, but to the visitors he seems very silent. Actually, he is not silent, he is very much angry. So, here we are having two figure of speeches. First is metaphor. Pads are like velvet. This is metaphor here. And quiet rage is another figure of speech here, that is oxymoron. O X Y M O R O N. Later in the next slide we will discuss oxymoron is a figure of speech containing words that seem to contradict each other. So here we are having two words contradict to each other. Quiet means silent, rage means angry. Actually, this is the condition of the tiger in the zoo who seems very silent but actually he is angry. Now let's see paraphrase. The tiger in the zoo walks in the limited space provided to it in the cage. It takes a few steps. There are stripes on its body, while are quite prominent, means noticeable. Its paws are soft like velvet. No noise is produced when it walks on its pads of velvet. The tiger is silent but in rage, means angry. Now let's discuss stanza 2. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass. He should be lurking. Lurking means hiding. Hiding. In shadow. Shadow is here, a shade of long grass and trees. Sliding, moving through the long grass. So he should be hiding, moving secretly, silently through the shadow which is of here long grass. Here the poet describes the tiger when he is in the forest. Near the water hole, he should be moving near the water hole where plump deer pass. Plump means healthy and fat deer pass. So he should be near the water hole. Water hole means water source like river where he can attack on the plump deer, and he should be hiding himself, lurking, hiding himself in the long grass. Here, let's see the paraphrase. Now the poet suggests that the cage is not the proper place for the tiger. It is not its natural habitat. The tiger in the cage is a victim of human cruelty. Usually tigers are found sitting under some bushes and long grass near a stream or water hole. As soon as they see their prey, like deer coming there to drink water, they slide silently through the grass and kill them. The poet wants to convey to us that the tiger should be there in the forest, its natural habitat. Now stanza 3. This is again about the forest. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. He should be snarling. Snarling means showing the teeth around the houses, near the houses of the village which is at the edge of forest. Baring, again showing his white fangs, white teeth, his claws you can say big nails, and terrorizing the village. Here exclamatory sign is given. This shows that how much villagers will be terrorizing if they see the tigers near their houses. So it is natural process. Now see the paraphrase. The poet proceeds further, giving another suggestion that the tiger should be sitting at the jungle's edge in close area of a village. It should be terrorizing the people passing that way by showing its sharp teeth, baring its claws, and producing low sound of anger. Now stanza 4. This is about cage, when the tiger is locked up in the cage. But he is locked up in concrete cell. He is tiger. He is not in the forest. Actually, he is locked up in the concrete means cemented. Cell means cage. His strength behind bars. Now all his strength of terrorizing people, of attacking the deer is his strength is behind the bars, means behind the in the cage behind the bars, stalking the length of this cage, ignoring visitors. This is visitors v. Stalking, moving, he is moving only according to the length of the cage. Why? Because he was locked up and he was having limited area. Ignoring visitors. When visitors come to see him, he ignores all the visitors because he is not interested in visitors and he is in angry mood. He is not happy in the cage. Paraphrase. In this stanza, the poet expresses deep sympathy at the plight. Plight means unpleasant situation of the tiger that is imprisoned in a cell made of concrete material like cement, sand, small pieces of stone, and water. He cannot come out of strong bars fixed at the concrete cell. Thus, the poet says that the tiger's strength locked behind the bars, and the tiger shows no interest in looking at the visitors. Rather, he keeps on stalking. Stalking means moving in the limited space of the cage. Now, stanza 5. He hears the last voice at the night, the patrolling cars, and stares with the brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. He is in the cage. He is waking till late at night. That's why he is the last one who can hear the noise of the patrolling cars. So patrolling cars are the on-duty authorities moving cars for the safety of case. And stares means here looks angrily. So very angrily he looks at the stars with brilliant eyes. Brilliant eyes, the eyes which is shining, which is having a hope and which can request the god here to, the brilliant eyes of the tigers are requesting God for requesting God to come out of that cage and to go in the natural habitat. At the brilliant stars, brilliant is here for stars, it means the shining stars, it means the weather is clean. Now paraphrase. The poet again takes the reader to the cage where the tiger is sitting in the cage and feeling unpleasant and restless, he hears the sound created by the patrolling cars of the zoo authorities. He shows no interest in them. The poet tells that he is staring at the shining stars with the brilliant eyes. Thus, the poem ends up at the point where it had started. The poet raises a moral issue here. He intends to present a strong case against the cruelty on animals which are kept in cages. Glossary. Some important words in the poem are given here with their meanings. Now let's discuss poetic devices. Alliteration in the line, he stalks in my his. Let me check this line. So here my should not be there. The line is he stalks in his. So alliteration is in the words he and his. Where plump deer pass. Again plump and pass. His strength behind bars. Behind and bars. Now repetition. Velvet, quite rich, quite is repeated. Brilliant eyes, brilliant stars, brilliant is repeated. So here we are having figure of speech repetition. Next is oxymoron. This is only in one line, that is in the one phrase, that is quite rich. Rhyme scheme of the poem. The poem A Tiger in the Zoo has 5 stanzas. The rhyme scheme of all stanzas is A, B, C, D, whereas the rhyme scheme in stanza 1 and 2, 3 and 5 is perfect. Means stanza 1, 2, 3, 5. These stanzas are having rhyme scheme A, B, C, B. But it is imperfect in stanza 4. The words bars and visitor do not rhyme perfectly with each other. So the rhyme scheme of stanza 4 is A, B, C, D. Let's see here. Stanza 4. See here, bars and visitors. They are not rhyming. So the rhyming scheme is A, B, C and D. Message given by the poet. Leslie Norris perhaps raises the issue that the zoos should be closed because poor dumb animals are kept behind bars without any fault. While it is best for them to lurk and enjoy the green wild surroundings, selfish humans forcefully deprive them of their basic right to freedom. So this is the poem of 5 stanza we have done. Thank you for watching my video.